I caught my brother trying to marry my wife, and the twisted ending will shock you. I never would have imagined that my life would take such a twisted turn. It all started when I caught my own brother trying to marry my wife. Yes, you read that right. My own brother, who I had trusted with my life, was trying to steal my wife away from me, and the ending to this story will surely shock you. It all began on a beautiful summer day, when my wife and I decided to have a small picnic in our backyard. We had been married for 5 years and were still deeply in love with each other. I couldn't have asked for a better partner in life. Everything was perfect until I received a call from my brother, Eric. "Hey, can I come over? I have something important to discuss with you," he said in a serious tone. "Sure, what's going on?" I asked, a little concerned. "I'll tell you when I get there. Just be ready," he replied and hung up. I shrugged it off, thinking it was just some family matter that he wanted to discuss. Little did I know it was something that would shatter my entire world. When Eric arrived, he seemed a little nervous and fidgety. I brushed it off, thinking he was just stressed about something at work. But then, he dropped the bomb on me. "I'm in love with your wife," he blurted out. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I looked at him with shock and confusion. "What are you talking about? That's my wife, Eric. How could you even think of such a thing?" I asked, my voice trembling with anger. "I know it's wrong, but I can't help how I feel. I've been in love with her since the day I met her, and I know she feels the same way about me," he said, his eyes pleading with me to understand. I felt a surge of anger and betrayal. How could my own brother do this to me? And how could my wife have feelings for him? I looked at her, hoping that this was all just a sick joke, but her expression told me otherwise. I could see the guilt and confusion in her eyes. "Is this true?" I asked her, my voice breaking. She didn't answer, but her silence was enough of an answer for me. I felt like my world was crashing down around me. The two people I loved and trusted the most had betrayed me in the worst way possible. I kicked them both out of my house and spent the next few days in a daze. I couldn't believe what had happened yet. My wife and brother were having an affair behind my back. I felt like a fool for not seeing the signs earlier. But then, something unexpected happened. My wife came back to me, begging for forgiveness. She told me that she had realized her mistake and that she loved me more than anything. She promised to cut all ties with my brother and make things right between us. I was torn. A part of me wanted to forgive her and give our marriage another chance, but another part of me couldn't get over the fact that she had betrayed me with my own brother. I needed time to think and process everything that had happened. During this time, I found out that my brother and wife had been planning to run away together and get married. They had even booked tickets for a flight to Las Vegas the day after I caught them. I couldn't believe the level of betrayal and deceit that had been going on right under my nose. But I was in for an even bigger shock. One day I received a call from the police, informing me that my brother had been in a fatal car accident. He had been driving under the influence of alcohol and had crashed into a tree. He didn't survive the crash. I was devastated. My own brother, who I had grown up with and loved, was now gone, and I couldn't help but feel guilty. Guilty for not seeing the signs, guilty for not forgiving him when he came to me for help, guilty for not being there for him when he needed me the most. My wife was also shocked by the news, but I could tell that she was relieved in a way. She no longer had to face the consequences of her actions and could go back to being the loving wife she used to be. But things were not as they seemed. A few days after my brother's funeral, I received a letter from him. In it, he confessed that he had faked his death to escape the guilt and shame of his actions. He had been planning to start a new life with my wife, but when he heard about my forgiveness, he couldn't bring himself to go through with it. I was furious. How could he do something so cruel and selfish? And how could my wife be a part of this plan? I confronted her, and she admitted to everything. She had helped my brother fake his death, and they were planning to start a new life together. She claimed that she still loved me, but she couldn't resist the temptation of being with my brother. I was done. I couldn't take any more lies and betrayal. I filed for divorce and cut all ties with my wife and my brother. I couldn't believe that I had been played by the two people I trusted the most. But the twist in this story doesn't end there. A few months after the divorce, I received another shocking piece of news. My brother and ex-wife had gotten married for real. They had gone to Las Vegas and tied the knot without anyone knowing. I couldn't believe the audacity of these two. They had betrayed me, lied to me, and now they were living happily ever after. I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction knowing that they both got what they wanted. But at the same time, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness and betrayal. I never would have thought that my own brother and wife would turn against me in such a way. But I learned a valuable lesson from this experience. Sometimes the people we trust the most can be the ones who hurt us the most. And sometimes the most twisted endings can be the most shocking ones.